Hello folks, and welcome to this Scotch whiskey review. You bought it, so you can talk about it.
This is Macallan's 12. It's good.
No, I mean, you wanted to talk. You bought it at where'd you buy it? Savannah Discount?
I bought this at Ilios's Wine Warehouse.
Oh yeah, Ilios.
In New Orleans. And Macallan's is just, if you never tried it, I don't say you're missing out on life. Macallan's is Macallan's.
Yeah, I've actually never tried it, so apparently I'm missing out on life. That's it. Whoa, 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 whoa.
This kid here can't even do a shot. Okay,
right.
so
You're right.
it's just perfectly balanced. You get some peatiness, smokiness, moss.
A little quick description. It says it's a triple cask, so they're using a European and American sherry seasoned cask. So they're taking oak barrels, they're aging sherry in it, give it some spice. I don't know what sherry brands. And they're also, the third one is ex-bourbon American oak cask or barrel. So bourbon barrels, very common. It says the Macallan established in 1824. I would assume, and I'm sure I'm correct, that there's all kind of different ages of it. This is the 12, and I'm sure there's 25 different varieties.
Where do you get your information from?
Well, just based on looking at all these different companies' websites, they all have a multitude of offerings.
Oh, so it makes you sure about that?
I'm sure based on the fact that I've looked at like multiple Scotch websites.
Cheers.
Right. Okay.
So you can smell it.
It's mild,
Oh,
man. Is
man.
this?
Right, but you can smell that really good peatiness that comes out of the top end Highlands. And you can smell it's just a really, really good
What I'm picking up.
whiskey.
What I'm picking up is let me tell you. I'm picking up like a little wax that I often get with Scotch whiskey. I'm getting mild malt, barley malt, which makes sense since it's a malt whiskey. Nice alcohol legs too. The color is natural, so there's no added coloring, so it's pale amber, nice looking.
Yep.
Smoke? No smoke.
Peat.
A little
There's
bit,
peat to it.
little bit of peat. It's like nectar, like you would get from flowers, like a honeysuckle. Yeah. So, cheers. I think a little bit of that. Yeah. Sherry, spice. I know it has. I know it was aged in sherry treated barrels because it says in the bottle, but I wouldn't have said sherry if I had known. I wouldn't have mentioned that.
Just the taste of the overall profile is just really, really good. You don't do that with other whiskeys or beers.
Oh yeah, I'm always swishing them around like mouthwash.
Not right. I've never seen you do it.
Watch Dawnbusters.
Dawnbusters.
That's right, because it's like 5:30 a.m. and I'm in my game, in my game plan. It's kind of like what I would have thought it was going to be, meaning that you get a lot of bread dough malt from the obviously malt whiskey. There's a slight, but not a heavy, a slight spiciness. As far as peat character, I wouldn't say that there's a particularly pronounced note of that.
Wait, first you said there wasn't any smoke. Now you're saying there's no peat. So what are you tasting? What makes this Irish or Scotch whiskey to you distinctively different than any other whiskey?
Yeah, I don't really think it is. I think it's nice. It's very good. I'm just getting that bread dough. That's the predominant. I always say
I'm
this.
tasting peat. I taste peat
It's-
through and through.
No, I find it's minimal.
I can smell it and taste it.
Because to me, a lot of times a peat, it'll taste like compost, like it's a like a
That
garden
might be something that's
compost,
not
earthiness.
refined.
No, I just peat.
So-
If you study what peat is, it makes sense.
Well, I mean, you're supposed to be drinking compost when you taste Scotch whiskey
well, of course you're not
to
drinking
it
that.
actually say, "Oh, it tastes like peat," or should there be some note to it?
When you get the heavy compost, that's when you get the heavy peat. I'm getting a
I
lot
don't
of.
agree with you.
I'm getting the nectar. I'm getting the bread dough, and that's the two main components: the bread dough, the nectar. Now they're talking about sherry.
I'm gonna disagree with you.
There could be a little sherry spice note. Now I gotta say at the back end of the sip, I will.
It is
concede that.
spicy. It's peaty. The smoke is not there.
Oh no,
It's
no
peaty.
smoke.
It's peaty to the point of where it's pleasant, not overdone, like you're chewing on a piece of pine or something. Because to me,
Ooh.
that's the way peat is when it comes across too bad.
Pine.
So, with that said, these are strong notes that you get from Scotch. Do you really want to sit there and taste that? I mean, because we can get that Highland I got. If you like that smoky.
Yeah, anything that's
peatiness.
strong, abrasive, in your face, bold, out
Right,
and
because
loud.
to me
I like those. But then I like the mild, mellow. I've used this term many times on Dawnbusters. The demure flavors, and I think that this Macallan 12 is very demure. I haven't read any written reviews because I've never tried this in my life until this very moment. But I think it's similar to the single malts we've been trying over the last couple of months. Mild.
How would this go against your Johnny Walker that you're putting on pedestal?
Well, that's a blended whiskey, so now that's a different. Now you're playing in a different league, you know, different rules, different, you know. So we got to watch that.
It still wasn't an answer to the question.
Yeah, I would like to skirt. I prefer not to discuss
That's
that
we're
product
playing
at this
politics
particular
right now.
time.
I would say this would go right up with it.
Yeah, I don't like to compare single malts to blends. I
Why
don't.
not? It's still Scotch whiskey.
Yeah, I just don't feel it's like comparing a two-seater, you know, Corvette type car to a F-250 Super
To a
Duty truck. You know,
four-seater.
it doesn't. I mean, they're
Interesting.
vehicles, you can ride in them. There's some little fine. There's some fine wood barrel. Yes, the mouthfeel is.
When you finish pontificating, I'll like do a review.
No, I'm giving a review.
Okay.
It's medium bodied. There's more spice coming into play as I sip along. The finish is, I would say, short to moderate. You know what I'm saying? Between short, a quick drop off, and a moderate. So
Okay.
it hangs around, but not too long.
To me, I've been drinking Scotch whiskeys for quite a few years. Not all the time.
I have not.
Tasted blends, and I've tasted single malts, Highlands, Speedsides, Lowlands.
I love.
This one, even though it says it's a single malt, tastes a lot like a blend, meaning that maybe it's been refined to pull some of the impurities out of it. This one is very good. It does have characteristics of an 18-year-old that we tried, where you said it was more mentholated. I'm tasting that too. This does have a lot of peat going on with it. Smoke, no. I'm tasting the oak notes as well as the sherry and the pepperiness that comes from those. So all those flavors to me kind of marry together into something that's really well. I would highly recommend this Macallan's 12. Scotch whiskeys are, to me, through the nose, so if you can find this at a good price, I would highly recommend it, whether it's single oak or double oak or whatever oak you want.
Triple oaked.
Right. It to me it just adds more char to the whiskey, which in turn would not make it taste more refined.
Char.
So this Macallan's is kind of like along the lines of taking some really good home cooking and then going to a restaurant and then refine it. This is refined. It's really, really good. So I'm going to give this an A+.
What you talking about with the restaurants? You're making me think of like Tessie's
Well,
place.
we're in Restaurant City. We live in New Orleans.
You were making me think of Tessie's place, like kind of take the home cooking and make it a restaurant stuff. All right, I wouldn't say it tastes like a blend at all, because the blends, in my experience, you'll notice a lot of grain whiskey with those, which can or may not, which may, I should say, may or may not be off-putting. Sometimes it'd be very pleasant, but this one, to me, it does taste like a malt whiskey.
And it's go ahead. I'm gonna let you do your own review.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you pay too much, and I think you got an appropriate price, and I think it's an appropriate product. I like it. I don't think it's an A+. I think it's an A. I do think it's the most excellent product. I would buy it. I probably one day will buy it. I'm dealing with a lot of backstock right now. I don't know when that's going to change. We know that it's an ongoing problem in my case. Sure, I would say it's probably around a 93. Most excellent, very enjoyable. And I don't think that's difficult to find. Most excellent, very enjoyable single malt Scotch whiskeys. I think the problem, if you want to call that a problem, I wouldn't call it a problem. I would call it a benefit, that there's so many companies putting out so many good single malt Scotch whiskeys of various agings, wood treatments, and other whatever.
So can you name so many companies and so many whiskeys going out? Because I only know a few that I go to.
I mean,
I'll go to this, to Glenfiddich, to Glen.
yeah, it's like it would be almost like
I
having
only have about 2 or 3 that I go to.
a conference. You could have an hours-long conference with all of these.
Interesting.
It's unreal. We'll talk about that off air. It's too many. I'm very happy with it. It's quite enjoyable. I would recommend it. I would buy it again. And if I wasn't stuck with this massive backstock right now, I'd go buy a bottle. I think, yeah, it's fine. It's no issue there. So I want to thank the company that makes this. Very good job. Pleasant.
Clean, well made.
Oh yeah, all those things. I mean, we disagree in a lot of
really good whiskey.
We're disagreeing about a lot of aspects of this, and people will comment and be like, "Y'all don't get along. There's a lot of tension. Y'all must not get along." I say, "You're not understanding the videos. We do get along, but we don't always agree on every particular aspect."
Think of this more like Siskel and Ebert. If any of y'all remember Siskel and Ebert, they would always counter one another, but they would agree.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever got along off air, but they had a great arrangement. It was too bad the way they both got sick and died. I used to like them a lot.
One died of a brain tumor first.
Yeah, it was sad. But anyway, no, it's not. People don't understand. It's not like a personal issue, but we're not going to get on the air and just agree on purpose to say oh, well, we're just getting along. We agree on everything. No, it's not like that. If we don't agree, we don't agree.
Yeah, it's a chip on the shoulder generation that we're in now. So.
Yeah, I don't have a chip on my shoulder, actually.
Yeah, chip your own shoulder, brother.
Chip your own shoulder, bro.
Right.
Anyway, so Lazy you're saying about a 98?
Yeah,
I couldn't go that high.
Almost world class.
No,
that's
I don't
okay.
see that. But anyway, pleasant enough product.
Really good, really good Scotch whiskey. If you see it, I would highly recommend getting it, no matter what the price is. I think it's retailing right now about $65, $70. So that's what you're going to pay. There's a really huge demand on Scotch whiskeys.
Anyway, we're going to end this review by saying, y'all come on down to southeastern Louisiana.
Drink better whiskey.